Trapped by the belief that I'm not good enough, bound by the limitations and the lies that consumed my world, this was me. It wasn't until I took the biggest leap in my life to know and trust the power within. And it was at that moment I made a choice. My past will not define me anymore. Hello, I am Teri Cardula, and I know I am not alone in this. Over the years, I have found that the number one mistake that we make is that we get in the way of our own success story. Yes, I said it. On this show, together we'll tackle limiting beliefs, self-sabotage, getting stuck, fear, doubt, overwhelm, and the imposter syndrome. Join us on this journey designed to transport you beyond your limitations to a world where anything is possible. This is Talking with Teri. Hello, and welcome back to Talking with Teri, where we have powerful conversations to transform your life and your business. And I'm delighted to have our guest today, Ruth Kent, with us. She's an author and speaker. She's an emotional code and body code practitioner, and she comes with over 41 years of intensive care trauma nursing, which I mean, you've probably seen and done all of it in between, right? So
Yeah.
I'll just introduce you. Welcome to the show.
Thank you, Teri. And before we get started, I'd like to say how I have honored, respected, inspired by you. You
Oh,
are such an amazing individual, and people that are connected with you are blessed. So
well, thank you. I didn't even have to pay her for that, folks. I was so, I appreciate that. You know, we've connected through an organization,
women.
eWomen Network, and we're platinum members there. And it's such a great, juicy group of women. And we get to see and experience and be around just really powerhouses. And so much love back to you, right? Like,
Right,
you
thank
know, just
you.
getting to know you and see you. And it's so yummy. So
Well, and one thing with that, we met a little more heart to heart at Cami Gunter's event.
yeah.
And that's one thing that that group does is, and what I love about who you and I are as individuals, we lift each other up. We don't say, well, what can I do for myself? And that's what this is all about today.
Yeah.
What
Yeah.
can we do to not only, say, hey, this is what I did. No, it's not about me. It's about lifting
Yeah.
people up.
Yeah, exactly. And we're all here and we all have our strengths and our really our unique talents. And you know, it's really tapping into those and harnessing them the best way. And as we do, you know, we help elevate others in the journey of that. So I love it. So let's hear a
Yeah.
little bit more about you for folks that don't know you yet.
Mhm.
Bring us up to speed of how you got to be where you're at today.
Well, I tell people, Carl Jung talks about the first half and second half of life. Well, I think I'm on my fourth phase, but I'm still going, because
She's writing history books now. She's rewriting it, right? I love it.
yes. And, I'm writing a book at the present time. And one of the chapters is going to be, I know. What a limiting phrase that can be, because there's infinite that we can know.
Mhm.
And I use that analogy in, I started out, being very happy, loving, fun individual, good friend, eager to do anything. But inside, I was a mess. I was never enough. And because I was never enough, it was always harder for me than anyone else. I wasn't smart enough. I wasn't pretty enough. I kept stacking the malarkey
Mhm.
until one day it just like got me. And even though I had accomplished things in life, you see, I wasn't acknowledging the accomplishments. I was still taking forward all the boo-ha
Mhm.
and still running from the foundation of not enough.
Yeah.
At 45 years old, I was told I was going to be in a wheelchair on oxygen. My body was so riveted with pain and stress that to even do muscle testing or any form of movement, I had to have a massage first.
Wow.
At that point, I was newly married. I got married at 40 years old, and had a honeymoon baby. So there was like a lot of transition there.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And
You just, when you go big, right?
that's right. And they say, where there's darkness, there's light. Where there's, what is that phrase? With every catastrophe, there's an equal or greater benefit.
Yeah.
Okay, it didn't really, these are the marks that I got to see looking back.
Right,
okay.
right.
But there's a analogy I have on my website, and it's the blackboard with the white dot. Keep it simple. What can people think of when they need it?
Mm-hmm.
Well, the blackboard is situations, circumstances, and conditions. The white dot is possibilities, potential, and solutions.
I love it.
And when we believe, truly believe, to then see it, even a probability that there's a solution to everything, a possibility to everything, and a potential greater than we know now. Just with that, things will start happening for you, because you're not committed in understanding or justifying and, quote, being a victim in the situations of circumstances. You're going to be receiving even behind your knowing, because then you get to look back and say what the dots were.
Yeah, 100%. I love it. I love that metaphor. Yeah, keeping it simple, right? But also in anything, like you said, there's possibilities. And I come from a similar background from as you. I was the same story, right? I'm not enough. I wasn't smart enough. I wasn't pretty enough. I wasn't, intelligent enough. I wasn't, competent enough. I wasn't, that enoughness. And I think you're right. Like I spent many years, stacking. I like how you said that, like stacking the accolades, stacking the awards, stacking the degrees, stacking the alphabet soup behind my name, right? And it was really freeing. Years ago, I just dropped all the alphabet soup. And it was just one moment where it was like, where at one point this mattered, right? And it's as you evolve into who you become, right?
Yes.
And you realize that those things, I truly believe that everything that we're going through has a purpose, right? And it serves us to some degree. And so I was very thankful that in a lot of ways, that was the motivation that kept me going, right? I had a learning disability.
It can be if you choose.
Yes. And so I used it as motivation, right? Then it got to a point where it stopped serving me and it became very dysfunctional. And it ran into, and then it started offing off into many, many other things that were not healthy, like perfectionism and, like this, and it just, this amount of stress, right? The amount of like, fear, and it was really fear driven, right? And it was not in alignment, with who I was becoming. And so it wasn't until you kind of peeled off the layers and said, okay, let's look at this in a different way. Let's look at where did I pick this up from? Who, that wasn't even mine. Because I think 98% of the stuff that we take on is not even ours. Like it was put there by somebody else, and so
that's an interesting part. And in my work that I do, that was an answer to me in many areas, not only my health, but I went from bankruptcy to debt free. I went from getting a possible divorce to renewing my vows the last 2 years of his life. And he suddenly passed away 6 years ago. How valuable this is to say yes and what I found that in my quote unquote chronic neck pain and autoimmune disorders was all this energy that I didn't know. 90%, 99% of our intelligence is coming from our subconscious.
Yes.
Emotional feelings, experiences every minute of our life. Well, not only is it from our life, but our ancestors. And so I don't do past life regression or anything, but if it comes up to benefit you in this life journey now, what I do is release inherited trapped emotions. And let me tell you, I had some busy Germans back there, and they, 90% of people walking this world run from a place of not good enough.
Yeah.
This is so important. But it was interesting for me to get out of my ego. I saw it work on an animal. And this animal had anxiety, phobias. And how many people today are running around saying, I'm stressed, anxiety, phobias, what if, fears, doubt, you know? Well, when I saw it work on an animal, I thought, get out of the way, Ruth. Don't try to understand this. Allow yourself to share the gift that has changed your life to transform others if they're ready, open, and willing. And many, many people come, and the first session they'll go, okay, well, this is interesting. Second time they come, they go, wow, okay, I'm sorry. And the third time they come, they go, just do what you do. I just have it. Go for it, honey. And it's so awesome. And one of my web designers said she removes the trash without going through the rubbish. And it's not counseling.
Yeah.
Do we really understand? Are we really going to understand all the stories?
No.
No, we don't even understand ourselves really to the depth of what we can. Because every day is a new day. So treat it that way and find out. And I was saying earlier, I have a cheer that I started in January.
Yes, I can't wait to hear this. Yeah.
And I got to tell you, it has changed my life. It has changed. It is so simple and fun. Today's a new day and I'm in a new way and I can't wait to discover what's new for me today. And I got to
love
tell
it.
you, it's
Okay, I'm gonna write
really,
this down. So today is a new day.
yes.
Okay.
And I am in a new way.
I am in a new way. Okay.
And I can't wait to discover what's new for me today. And you're saying it from your soul, and your soul's love
What'd you say? I can't wait to
discover what's new for me today. How often we wake up or we go to sleep with the same boo-ha that, okay. So I have a tip.
Okay.
And I have a program called Champion Your Truth. It's a 12-week program. And this is part of the to-dos, but people carry this tool forward. And what it is every night you go to sleep, you do the 4 gap. The 4 is forgiveness. The G is for gratitude. The A is for action, but it's more intention. Not the to-do list, but what are you intending to do? If you simply say, I plan to be even more of a better receiver tomorrow, whatever.
Yeah.
What's your intention? And then the P is for proud. Now, a lot of people forget the P. I say don't, because that's your celebration of every day. Okay. If you don't celebrate you, don't expect somebody else to, And then the I am statements. And there's a book called Power of the Subconscious Mind by Joseph Murray. And this book, he simply says, I am wealthy, I am wealthy, I am wealthy. And say it from your soul. Say it 3 times. I many times will say, I am an amazing receiver. I am filled with joy. I am. And say this as you go to sleep. Now, why is this important? Because as you go to sleep and you're thinking, you're giving your frontal lobe, the problem solver, something to be working on. Your frontal lobe doesn't go to sleep. You do.
Yeah. Yep.
So give it what you want to create your better tomorrows. I was thinking of an analogy before I got on. And when you get prepared to move, many times you declutter things you don't want, but it takes you time. I invite people to give themselves the journey of training themselves every day to be better. And her name is Guthe, I think it is. Every day I get to be better and better in every way and every day. That used to be like nails on a chalkboard. Not anymore. Not
Yeah,
anymore.
because you're able to receive it. Yeah.
Yeah. And I have a talk, and it's a stop chasing it, start owning it. And you mentioned it a little bit ago. Well, I want to encourage people that there was an awareness that came to me that took me beyond owning my gifts. I know my calling now. I know my purpose. And like Sandra says, a calling will bite you in the butt and not leave you alone. It certainly will.
Yep.
And but owning beyond your knowing.
I like that. Yeah.
Yeah. We can get caught up in our ego. And every day there's a greater gift. And I keep in front of me my graduation from senior year of high school report card. And do you know why I do?
No, I mean, I don't know. Tell me.
Because it was not until I was in my 60s did I read the back of my report cards.
Wow.
Because what do? Did I pass? Did I fail?
Mhm.
Did I make it? Did I not?
Mhm.
That's all. And Shakespeare has a wonderful quote. He says, nothing's right or wrong. Thinking makes it so. To me, that's a prison.
Yeah.
Yeah, if we go beyond the stinking thinking and move into, like I say, the white dot. Well, on the back of the card, there was the principal wrote a note to me about how even my tears are beautiful and that they don't make anyone like you. Well, I found an angel and she's got a puzzle piece. And that's what I want people to know. Nobody takes that space. You're unique. Don't be the victim.
Yeah.
Be the victorious one and find out, what is this all about? Make it beneficial, not a curse, not, yeah, I was very much in the victim mode for a long period of my life, but I didn't know.
Right.
But I was the
Most
victim
of
to
us,
myself.
yeah. As
Yeah,
and most of us, I think, would agree. We don't know what we don't know. We don't realize how deep in the trenches we are.
yeah,
So we start to, play with it and to experiment and with it and to start to understand it and unpack it, right?
yeah. People say, what is your superpower? And I used to say love, but I understand that there's a clarity that is beneficial.
Mhm.
It's unconditional love.
Yeah.
Nowadays, you can give love to people, but oh, if you're this and that. No, this is unconditional love is my superpower.
Yeah. No, that's beautiful.
Yeah.
Beautiful. What are some, as we are wrapping up here, what are some final thoughts for our audience, or a final tip or tool or a nugget that they can start to implement today?
Well, I'll just share what's coming up, because usually what comes up is who's ever listening. you know. Um, do you keep your goals in front of you? I have a little blackboard and I have my word for 2023, and it's freedom. And I have 2 goals on there that I see every day. The other thing that I would say is, don't wait until the end of the day to assess where you are in your track for the day.
Yeah.
I have a button that says stop, pause, and pray. Pause, take every 2 minutes or 2 hours and pause. Are you on track? Are you listening? Or are you in the stinking thinking?
I love it. And those are always, great reminders for us to just to reset, right? We don't have to go through the whole day wasting around. We can always make a choice to change,
Yeah.
to make it.
There's a wonderful phrase. And when we do that, when we wait until the end, we go, oh, why did we do that? Or what, And Kyle Cease has a phrase. He says, people don't break our hearts, they break our expectations. How many times we put these huge list of expectations on ourselves? When you stop and pause, you're going to listen. What is, and all of a sudden that list may not be the most important thing, but what you are going to be doing is exactly what you're being guided to do. So the pause is pretty important. And when you feel that your expectations, are frustrating and you're frustrated with yourself, go deeper. There's a voice that says, you've got this.
Beautiful. I love it. I love it. Where can people connect with you and find more information about you?
I'd like to offer anyone an opportunity to experience the work, because you can read it, you can hear other people, but that's the greatest gift. And so anyone that connects at ruthkentllc.com, there's a Connect with Ruth. It's a free 15-minute get together. I'd love to meet you and, your people. Give them a free opportunity. Also, you'll hear about my program. It's going to be in September, but also I'll be doing many more things, and ruthkentllc.com is the place to find.
Perfect. I appreciate that. Well, thank you so much for being here today. And thank you for, rising to your gifts and really understanding and being the light for others to do the same. I mean, I think
Thank
that's
you.
what we're all about. And, this time that we're living in is, more so than any other time, is allowing us to do just that. So thank you for your words of wisdom
Yeah.
today.
Thank you. Thank you, Teri. Blessings.
I am so grateful that you joined me for this episode. If you've enjoyed this, then there's just one thing that I would like you to do. Click to subscribe and leave me a rating and review. As my way to thank you, let's connect for a free consultation. Just reach out to me at talkingwithteri, that's TERI.com, to book your time.